Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jay and today I'm going to show you how I made this delicious chicken pie. So first off, I'm going to make some short crust pastry. It's half the fat to flour, and I'm adding a little bit of salt, and then I'm just going to pinch the flour and the butter between my fingers to make a breadcrumb texture. This does take a few minutes to work the butter into the flour, so be patient with it, but if you have a food processor you definitely could let it do this job. I actually enjoy doing it by hand though. As you can see, the butter's all worked into the flour, and I'm going to add some very cold water bit by bit to form a dough. I'm not having to make much of an effort to massage the mixture. The more water I add, the more it just clumps together on its own with any slight movement. So that's our short crust made. I'll pop that into the fridge. It'll need at least an hour's rest before use. Now let's make a start on our pie filling. I'm going to chop one medium-sized onion. I've peeled 2 carrots and I'll chop them into medium-sized pieces. I'm not going to need much veg because I'm only making 2 small pies. Now I'm going to peel and chop 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to chop the garlic up finely. I'm dicing 200 grams of raw chicken breast into medium-sized pieces. I'm just pouring 2 tablespoons of olive oil into my pot. And now I've just put all of the chicken into the pot at once. I've got it on a medium heat and I'm just keeping it moving about. After cooking the chicken on a medium heat for 5 minutes, I'm ready to add our carrots and onions. I'll cook those until the onions are soft and translucent. The onions are soft and the pot is full of flavour. I'm going to add our chopped garlic. And after giving it a good stir, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. Mix the butter in, it's going to melt out pretty quick. Now the butter's melted, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of plain flour. Stir in the plain flour. Now I've turned the heat down to a lower setting. To 1 chicken stock cube, I've added boiling water. I need just enough stock just to cover the chicken. I've turned the heat right up now. Give it a good stir and wait for it to thicken. As you can see now, it's starting to simmer. Now I'm going to add some herbs. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mixed herbs, half a teaspoon of white pepper, half a teaspoon of thyme, half of cayenne pepper, half of paprika, and then I'm going to stir that all up together. The sauce is deliciously creamy now, full of flavour and thickening nicely, and the pieces of chicken are just nice and tender. So now I'm going to add some ground black pepper, turn the heat right down, put the lid on for about 10 minutes and stir every few minutes in between. Right guys, I'm really happy with this sauce now. It's been 10 minutes and I've stirred in between. I'm happy with the consistency. Meat's lovely and tender and is full of flavour, so I'm going to turn it off now and allow it to cool. Okay, so our pastry is well rested now. I've taken it out the fridge 10 minutes before I needed it, just to soften it up. I'm going to be cutting it into 4 pieces because I'm making 2 small pies. Now time for me to roll out this pastry. I need to make sure that there's no air pockets and that the pastry is flush to the corners and sides. I've just cracked open 1 egg, given it a whisk for our egg wash. Now time to fill our pie. Now I'm just brushing the egg around the sides of the pie. Now I'm rolling out our pie lid. As with the bottom, make sure there's no air pockets and that the pastry is tightly around all the corners and sides. Now I press all 4 sides down with my finger. Now I'm going to tidy the pie up by trimming round the sides. I'm just going to take my knife and work my way round. Now I'm going to crimp the edges, pinching the pastry between my forefinger and thumb. Before baking, I'm just going to pierce the pastry with a knife. And lastly, brush all over with the beaten egg before placing into the preheated oven of 170 Celsius for 35 minutes. My chicken pies took 35 minutes to bake, and I just leave them for 5 minutes before turning them out onto a plate. So there it is, our chicken pie. Juicy pieces of chicken in a delicious, flavoursome, creamy sauce, wrapped in a melt-in-the-mouth pastry. Well worth the time and effort. If you've enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more delicious recipes like this. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.